Hey guys, you have been asking for it and well, I finally delivered. We have the Ford Ranger Platinum, the luxury Ranger. This thing will set you back about 83,000 Australian dollars drive away for a dual cab ute. But they have upspec this thing phenomenally. It doesn't feel like a Ranger. We're gonna go through all the exterior changes with the Platinum, including some of its really cool cargo tech. I never thought I'd be saying that, but trust me, it's very cool. We're gonna check out the luxury interior, but we're also gonna see how the ride has been slightly hurt. And of course, because we do with every car, we're gonna performance test it, see just how fast or slow the heaviest Ford Ranger is. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the fact that Melbourne weather is delivering once again. We have gale force winds to the point where I've had to move filming because I fell over twice. I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about though what the changes are on the outside of the Ranger Platinum. First thing you're going to notice is the Platinum badging. It gives it a more premium feel and brings it in line with the Ford Everest Platinum. Check out the C-clamp design headlights. There's nothing different here. They do come as standard though with the Matrix LEDs, as you would kind of hope. And they are very, very bright headlights, so that's good. You've also got a fog light down here too. You've got a premium grille. That's part of that Platinum pack with the Ford badge there, of course. There's also the option of a bronze exterior paint, which I would have really loved, but it does look pretty mean in this black. And they all come as standard with a black roof as well. So pretty cool stuff. Let's check out the side. Okay, so coming to the side, I'm not sure how I feel about these. So these are 20-inch alloy wheels here. They do have a cool design to them. They have the same Bridgestone Wrangler all-terrain tires on them too. But as you'll see, oh my God, this is so messed up. Okay, let's try and get back to this, all right? The issue with putting on bigger wheels, even though they do look better, absolutely, is that they always come at the sacrifice of ride quality, just because you get less tire, essentially. And so, as you'll see, that does kind of degrade the ride just a little bit. You got the V6 badge here, though, with functional aero there too. Got a 360 camera there, of course. Platinum badging there. You've also got some side steps. They're okay, they're plastic. You've also got privacy glass here, which is nice to see. So you'll see at the top, it has some pretty meaty roof rails. This is the first Ranger to come with a really swanky system. So you'll notice the sports bar here. Check this out. It's got a handle. How cool is that? No, this isn't to get you a nice little spoiler. If we come around here and step on the back, it's super easy. You just pull a lever and now you've got a bar here. What was happening before, Ford says, is that if someone had like a canoe, they would have to rest it on the sports bar. And so it never really quite worked. It gets even cooler though, because if we come back around here and I climb up here, you pull a lever, boom, and now you can start to get horizontally mounted roof rails. So I climb up here, pull that, I'll lock this one into place. I'll have to do the same for the other side. Give me one moment. Come up here, pull this, boom. And now we have horizontal bars at the top so we can load things like a ladder onto the top or a canoe, whatever. Very cool. And of course, this is adjustable. So I can move this there if I want to, or there. It's super easy. I think it's so cool. It's just such a smart little feature. Another thing that's cool about it is that it's got integrated wind deflectors into it, because one of the issues with having horizontal bars is that often can make a lot of wind noise. So that should help reduce it there too. Not to mention you still get the cool little side step, but let's check out the bum and also the tub. Okay, so coming to the booty of the Ranger Platinum, it's still got a couple of cool, unique features. You do get the full LED lighting pack on this one as standard. You got four-wheel drive badge there. That's to indicate that you have the permanent four-wheel drive system. You have Ranger embossed into the tailgate. Ford badge there, of course, the Platinum badge there. But it's the tailgate that has extra enhancements. You see, check this out. Not only is it counterbalanced, so it's really light anyway, it's also got a gas strut. So just to make your life that little bit easier, they've added that, which, good attention to detail, I'll give them that. Of course, you still get a class-leading tub, even though you get the tonneau cover, of course, as standard. All you have to do is press a button here, it retracts away. I love these because it means you can lock up the back. You've still got the smart Ford features. For example, you've got these adjustable rails here. You've got a 12-volt socket in there. And I'll put the dimensions on the screen now, but yeah, this is still very much class leading. Even though that tonneau cover does eat into a bit of space, it's really, really good. I just can't get over how not only have they counterbalanced it, they've put a gas strut. I think that's so funny. And I guess that's what you're paying for when you get the Platinum. You're expecting everything and you get everything. Let's check out the luxury interior. Obviously, it's the interior of the luxury Ranger that's gonna be luxury-fied, if that's a word. I don't think so. So let's start with all the changes in here because they're substantial. Leather steering wheel, but this isn't the same leather. This is like a nicer leather. Oh, it feels so good to hold onto. Not to mention, it's now heated. You get Platinum badging everywhere, from the carpets to the door sills to there to the seats. Come back to the seats. You've also got this faux wood here that's really nice, but you touch around and it's nice, soft touch leather. I will say, I think the interior of the Volkswagen Aventura, which I'm currently reviewing as I'm filming this, is probably a little bit nicer, but still, for a Ranger, this is pretty substantial. Of course, you have split glove box here, and I'm happy to say that the quality, the build quality, is better in this than it has been in earlier Rangers. Clearly, the factory is starting to get some more things right. You know, there aren't huge panel gaps everywhere. You have one of my all-time favorite car features, which is cup holders in the dash. It means it sits in front of the vents and you can keep your drinks nice and cool or warm. Another major change are these seats. They are so nice. They're this quilted leather, feel entirely different to what you'll find on a Wildtrak. They're so soft and supple. They're also perforated, and that's because you finally get ventilated seats. So you already had heated seats in the Wildtrak, but now you can also have cooled seats, which have been really handy because even though this weather is terrible right now, it's actually been kind of warm sometimes, which Aussies will rejoice at because our summers are hot. Amazing. Also, they're now 10-way adjustable from 8-way, and those 2 ways are for your thigh angle, and it makes an entirely huge difference. It's really comfortable because now your legs aren't as flat. You can raise it up or down, whatever you want. The infotainment display is both good and bad. It's good in that they've now changed the UI, so it feels snappier. It's not having the lag that I used to experience in previous Rangers. It's also just a bit easier to navigate. Everything just makes a bit more sense. And even though it does have the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, I don't recommend it because it cuts out the music, it stutters, it's constantly not working. Like it's connected and then as you're listening to the music, it's like crackling, it's terrible. It's not the speakers, it's the infotainment display. So pro tip, as someone who's spent like months in these cars now, plug in your phone and when you do so, make sure you don't turn on wireless, keep it wired. Your experience will be 10 times better. Rant over, you do have your air conditioning controls down here. They're physical buttons, but you can also access it through the display. You have to do that if you want to turn on your heated seats, heated steering wheel, etc., but it's actually pretty easy to use and it's a pass. So overall the screen is pretty good, but some of these features like the buggy Apple CarPlay should have been fixed a long time ago. You do have the B&O sound system as standard because this has what the Wildtrak would have as a premium pack, which means you also get these little auxiliary buttons up here. It's like a fighter jet. It's so fun to play with. Another major change is this giant display in front of you. Now, I'll be totally honest with you, functionally, it's not really any better than what you'll find in a standard Ranger with its smaller digital display. It's just sharper. It has really cool graphics when you change between the driving modes. Very cool. I love it. I go through all of them. And you can also show a bunch of information in the center. So as far as Utes goes, it is definitely up there with the most customizable. Although I will say the Volkswagen Amarok now has an even more customizable display. So there's that. But really tit for tat in that instance. You have a wireless charger here. You've also got a USB-C port and a USB-A port. Your shifter is exactly the same. You've also got your off-road mode button here, which brings up a cool little display and you have a few different functions there. And of course you have your four-wheel drive controller here. I keep mine pretty much permanently set to 4A because although it will usually just send power to the rear wheels, it can send up to 50% of power to the front wheels when it needs to. So awesome to see. Got a nice soft center armrest too. Feels really well built. And plenty of space on the inside with a 12-volt socket. So yeah, the luxury Ranger, it genuinely feels really luxury in here. You've also got ambient lighting in the interior and these chrome garnishes. Even on the door handle, it feels nice and primo. And you've got pretty big door bins there too. You've also got your trailer brake controller that comes as standard, so that's good. Let's check out the back seats. Oh my God. Okay, so back seats in the Ranger Platinum, the luxury Ranger. It feels pretty nice back here. I'm 5'11", sitting behind my normal seating position. I've got plenty of toe room, plenty of leg room, and plenty of headroom there too. Got a couple of air vents there with a USB-A port and a USB-C port, and matte pockets. But more importantly, are these beautiful perforated leather seats. They feel so nice, really, really supportive. So I'm pretty happy about that. You can also lift up the seat base and that will reveal some underfloor storage, which is cool. And then you've got a very difficult to open. Ugh. What the f? Yeah. That's way too hard. Center armrest with a couple of cup holders. So Ford, I think you can make that one a little bit less tight. All right, let's see how the driving goes, especially with those bigger wheels. Okay, so driving the Ford Ranger Platinum. Let's give it some sauce. I love this engine. So we are driving the only engine option available for the Platinum, but it's the one you should get anyway. The single turbo 3-litre V6. Of course, it's a diesel and it puts out 184 kilowatt of power, 600 newton meters of torque. All of that power goes through the 10-speed torque converter automatic transmission, which is, as always, way better than it was in the previous gen Ranger. And because today is an incredibly terrible winter's day, once again, I've got the permanent four-wheel drive system set to automatic, which is awesome because it means that it will still send power to the rear, but will send power to the front wheels when it detects any sort of slip, anything like that. So there's some really good points with getting a Platinum, but there's also a big downside in my opinion. But I want to start with the good. At least let's do a feedback sandwich. So first of all, it's noticeably quieter on the interior. And really what that can be attributed to is the more use of softer touch materials, because that helps to soak up a lot of road noise. It's extremely windy outside and you can almost not even tell. Even holding onto this steering wheel just feels like such a more premium experience. It almost doesn't even feel like the other Rangers, which already feel great. Excuse me while I give it some twisty sauce before I get into the negativos of this car. Unreal. It seriously is one of the best driving utes. That's good. I want to get to what I don't love, and that is the ride quality. It's quite noticeably stiffer than other Rangers, and that can really be attributed to the 20-inch wheels. We seem to have a fascination with bigger wheels. Bigger wheels generally means a more expensive car, and that is certainly true, but unfortunately that does usually impact on ride quality because you have less sidewall for the tires. So honestly, first thing I would do if I bought one of these, I'd probably downgrade the wheels to 18 inches and put on some thicker and probably better rubber. However, that does often mean that we get slightly better cornering ability. So why don't we test that out in the Ranger Platinum? All right, we're at Saucy Corner. Brake boosting it, let's go. Oh God, that torque from the engine, it's unreal. I love it. Okay. Oh, all right, first corner. Don't want to do it too hard. Oh, understeered. Okay. Back on track. Oh, we've had to do the double over. For a like 2.5 ton dual cab ute, it does a pretty damn good job. Certainly not meant to be a sports car. So what's the other part of what's the bread of the feedback sandwich here? And that is the seats. Man, I have been loving not only that the seats are heated, but the material is just so much better. It's a much nicer leather than what you'll find in a Wildtrak. You have adjustable thigh support, which I didn't even know I missed until I had it here. And I have employed the use of the cooled seats because being Melbourne, it went from really cold to actually kind of warm. And it was amazing. The first Ranger to have cooled seats, took a bit too long. Really, the Ranger should have had cooled seats quite a while ago, but at least now you get them. And it has been so good. And also the heated steering wheel, it's on now. I'm so comfy. I'm so comfy. So yeah, even though ride quality does take a bit of a hit, it's still a phenomenal ute. And in a lot of ways, it's so nice. I feel like I'm sitting in an almost luxury car. Although I will say, I do love the interior of the Amarok Aventura. So if you want to go watch that review, click up on the screen now, because this thing does now have stiff competition really from itself. Amarok being essentially a Ranger. But the moniker of any dual cab ute is just how fast it is. So let's time that. So because we are in the most luxurious Ford Ranger, we're also in the heaviest Ford Ranger. So I'm curious to see if this thing is any slower than what we got last time, which was 8.41 seconds. And also what the impact is from these 20-inch wheels. Now, to be fair, Jacob was in the Wildtrak last time we tested that. So we're gonna put traction off. We're gonna brake boost launch it. Let's see how it goes. I love this engine. I really do. Ooh, 0 to 100 in 8.19 seconds. Interesting. Okay, so final thoughts on the all-new Ford Ranger Platinum, the luxury Ranger. Look, for most people, this isn't the Ranger to go for. It is quite expensive. I still think that if you go for the Wildtrak, you still get 95% of this car. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit disappointed by the ride comfort just because of the more luxury wheels. They're bigger. They just provide a little less comfort. It's still top of the class. And if you are looking for a luxury ute, then it's hard to go past the Ranger Platinum. But you should also check out the Volkswagen Amarok Aventura, which is the same car under the skin and is also pretty much just as luxury. And you can click up on the screen now to go watch that.